What can you eat on the carnivore diet? It seems overly simple, like this is too simple to be true, right? Just meat and salt. The meat and salt version is one form of the carnivore diet. Of course, there are no carnivore diet police. It's not like a specific protocol like Whole30 or 21-day sugar detox or the GAPS protocol that all have really specific yeses and nos, and there's like a book and a food list that goes along with them. The carnivore, there is no particular carnivore police that are going to come after you if you do it so-called wrong. So the most extreme version, and this is something that like Jordan Peterson, Michaela Peterson are both on, just beef and salt, and that's what they eat and that's what they feel best on. That's something that I personally think a lot of people would benefit from trying for just like 5 or 10 days and see how they feel. But a lot of people kind of ease into it by just taking out most of the plant foods. And so the least restrictive version of the carnivore diet is where you eat meat, dairy, some people even include honey, eggs, and even seasonings. So like salt, pepper, steak seasoning, and some people even include like a little bit of avocado oil, mayonnaise, steak rubs, barbecue sauce, a little bit of that, but still like 90 or more % of their calories are coming from animal products, which is meat, dairy, and most people choose full fat dairy over like skim milk and eggs. And so that's the other extreme version of the carnivore diet, is like you eat mostly meat, but you can have seasonings, spices, sauces, that kind of thing too. And so the middle version is the one that I personally started with, is where you eat meat and animal products like full fat dairy or high fat dairy like butter. But then you avoid all of the additive, and eggs, but then you avoid all of the seasonings, which is like plant food. You only season with salt, and you carefully avoid all of the additives, like the weird stuff that can show up in some heavy whipping cream. There's weird stuff that shows up in cream cheese, and even like there's a little bit of coloring in some cheeses. So avoiding all additives, and this is a great way to do an elimination diet, but then still including meat of any kind, so like seafood, beef, pork, chicken, sometimes a little bit of bacon, even though that usually does have some additives in it, eggs, and dairy that is really just dairy, nothing else. So foods that are so-called healthy but not included on the carnivore diet, and this is nothing to say that these are bad foods, this is just not included when people do the carnivore diet, is oils that come from plant, and that includes coconut oil. So a lot of us that are interested in healthy eating and know we do really well on fat have kind of used coconut oil as a crutch. So cutting out the coconut oil, and then what can you use instead? Like what do I use to cook my eggs in, or what do I use to cook my meat in? And I just use tallow. So you can get a little jar, and I'll link down below, of tallow. And I put it on Subscribe and Save on Amazon. They're like $6 for 2 jars, and 2 jars last me, like each jar lasts me about a month. So tallow is great for cooking. You can save all of your fat. Like when I put a brisket in the Instant Pot and I put in some water, there's gonna be a bunch of fat if you just pour the meat juices and everything that's left after you're done in a jar and you let that solidify. There's gonna be a big layer of fat on the top of that. You can use that for cooking as well. Other foods not included in the carnivore diet, fruit or vegetables or any kind. If you add vegetables to the carnivore diet, you're on the keto diet. And there's nothing wrong with keto, but it's not the carnivore diet. So the point of carnivore is to really get rid of those vegetables and see how you feel without them. Other foods not included on the carnivore diet are sweeteners, including stevia or sugar. Both of those come from plants. Alcohol is typically not recommended on the carnivore diet. If you are going to drink, like I do usually once a week or so, is I'll go out on a Friday or Saturday night, and vodka soda is my thing. So bubbly water, soda is just seltzer water. And then vodka it doesn't have additives in it. It's one of the kind of less gonna be bothersome alcohols to have if you are going to drink on the carnivore diet. But in general, especially if you're doing this for healing, alcohol is not part of a healthy diet. It's a toxin to our body. Coffee is something that's included by most of us, and I have kept coffee in as I've done the carnivore diet. Doing a trial with no coffee is probably always recommended, but a lot of people just drink black coffee, or they find a heavy whipping cream that doesn't have additives in it, and they put that heavy whipping cream in their coffee. But again, we're avoiding the coconut oil, so like the keto coffee where you blend it up with the coconut oil, that's something that we tend to avoid on carnivore. But again, how you do carnivore is how you do carnivore. There are no carnivore police. If you'd like to see an overview of what you can eat on the different levels of strictness, I do have a meal plan down below that if you sign up, it's for free. I have 1 week where we do just meat and salt, and so that's like the most restrictive week, but there is actually still quite a bit of variety you can get with like seafood and different kinds of meat and organ meats that can all provide lots of nutrients and variety on just a carnivore meat and salt diet. And then there's other weeks that are in varying levels of strictness, with the least strict adding in seasonings like garlic and parsley and black pepper, that kind of thing. And there's actually quite a bit that you can make with dairy, eggs, meat, and seasoning. And so I've got a lot of ideas down there below for you. Next, go ahead and take a look at that video, and I show you my surprising results and why I fell in love with the carnivore diet in my first week on it. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you back soon.
The carnivore diet is for stuff that makes you healthy, and it doesn't want, and Mom likes it so much, so her wants to keep on eating the stuff that's it.